Podcast. For the fans, by the fans. For the love of the game.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, baseball fans, wherever you are, whatever time it is. This is Chop House Chatter. I'm Jackson.
And I'm Thomas, and welcome to Chop House Chatter. Jackson, we are now going into, week 2 of the MLB season of 2024. How do you feel so far, man? You good? You alive? You awake now?
Yeah, I feel great. The Braves are in first place.
Braves are in first place. Man, I feel like it's like all or nothing for the Braves right now. What do you feel?
I feel like it's business as usual.
Business as usual. I mean, hey, you are completely right there. Hate the injuries that are happening right now, but we will hit on that. Let's go ahead and hit the standings first. So, feel how it is around the league right now. You cool with that?
Yeah.
So right now, AL East, New York Yankees are leading that division 8-2. Boston is second place. Baltimore in third. Tampa Bay in fourth, and Toronto Blue Jays rounding it out in the fifth spot. AL Central, Cleveland is in first place, 7-2 record, followed by Detroit. Kansas City Royals, that is surprising me there. Minnesota Twins, and then the abysmal Chicago White Sox. And we had to split them. That's just still blows my mind there.
Hey, look, whatever his face was, Crochet was dealing, man.
Yeah.
Nobody was hitting him that night. Not with that cold.
I just feel like that's typical Braves fashion that we'll split and give the Chicago White Sox their only win of the season so far, and then we come over here against the Diamondbacks, and yeah, we'll get into that. But that to me, I feel like that's typical Braves fashion.
Yeah, it is.
AL West got the defending World Series champions Texas Rangers in first place, 6-2. Followed by LA Angels, Seattle Mariners, Oakland A's, and then surprisingly, Houston Astros in the cellar right now. So that's your American League standing so far in the second week of the MLB season.
Yeah, and I mean, if we hop on over to the National League, the Central goes. The Pirates are in first place.
Hey, you knew something that I didn't know because your MVP pick was their third baseman, right?
Yeah. What? Yeah. Hey, look.
Hey, they got something happening over there in Pittsburgh.
Yeah, I like Pittsburgh as a team. They're a good young team, and then there's Milwaukee, who never is undefeated in trading their star players and still being good.
Yeah,
I think they're better than Tampa Bay at this point. I don't know how to do it. And then there's the Cubs, and then the Reds, and then the Cardinals in last place, which, if you watched last season, probably shouldn't surprise.
Yeah, not at all. So, hey, St. Louis, just do what you do. Hang in there. Season will be over in a couple of months.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry the Devil Magic ran out, except I'm not sorry. And then out west, out west, you got the Dodgers, and then the Padres, and then the Diamondbacks, the Giants, and then the Rockies.
Mm-hmm.
And then we head to the East. Braves are sitting at 6-2 at the top. Then the Phillies, the Nationals are ahead of the Mets, and then the Marlins picked up their first win.
Congrats to the Marlins. So that's
against the Cardinals. That's all you need.
I think that was the last winless team. So every team in the league now has a win under their belt. So it's now a new ball game, right?
It's going to be a tough recovery on that one for Miami.
You're right about that one. Hey, Braves, what have the Braves done this past week? We had Chicago, we had Arizona. Do we have anybody else? Am I missing anything?
No, that's it. They had that weird weather day on Wednesday. So they had 2 days off.
We're over here expecting chances of snow in I think, what is this, April? It's still blowing my mind how cold it was in Chicago.
Yeah, I think it did snow. But they got 2 off days, which might help. They play every day until like the 18th or something like that. So
yeah. Hey, we survived over in Chicago. Braves are currently, I think we're averaging 7 runs a game. But hey, the weather might have been a determining factor on that loss we had in Chicago. We lost 2-3 on that Tuesday, April the 2nd. But let's just put that behind us. Move forward. We had the home opener on Friday. And hey, Braves got a sweep out of it, right?
Yeah, I mean, game 1 was wild enough, them coming back in that game. And then, that we'll get to game 2 in a second, but opening night to come back, Jared Kelnick with the bloop double.
Yeah.
He's already a hero. Put the statue outside in the Battery.
Mm-hmm. Hey,
But
Alex Anthopoulos is a genius because the players we gave up, both of them out for the season, and Kellenick doing what Kellenick's doing and just looking like, hey, he could be an all-star this year.
yeah, I mean, he doesn't even need to be an all-star. He just needs to be an above average player. And I think he brings something a little different than Rosario.
Yeah.
I think, with his batting stance change, he's definitely hits the ball hard, and he's looking to put the ball in play.
Yeah.
Definitely been a lot more selective. And Rosario is kind of like an all or nothing guy, which the Braves already have a couple of,
We got a few of those on the team right now.
Yeah. Matt Olson, Marcelo Zuna can be that.
Yeah.
Most days. But I think it's nice that Kelnick can change his approach and be that number 9 guy where he can just look for a pitch to hit.
Yeah.
Because people don't want to face Acuna with a guy on first base, so they're not going
to be picking around the corners with him. They're going to give him good pitches, and he's doing what he's supposed to do with those good pitches.
Yeah, and with Ronald and Ozzie behind him, I think he's benefited from not having to face like any lefties at all.
Yeah.
And then when the situation does come up, you can just put Adam Duvall in that spot. Dude,
Exactly.
Duvall's been pretty good over the first
I
week.
love that platoon right now. The platoon of Duvall and Kelenic is just music to my ears.
It's punishing. Kelenic smashes right-handed pitching, and Duvall is a lefty's worst nightmare, man.
Yeah.
So, I mean, game 1, they came back, they walked it off. Travis with the single off the wall in extra innings. And then, I mean, that game 2, the prelude to game 2, losing Spencer Strider, probably for the year.
So I know they want to do more evaluations on him. And if you weren't aware, listeners, Spencer Strider does have a sprain in his UCL. Fingers crossed it's not Tommy John, but hey, he's going to be down for a hot second.
Yeah, I mean, there's 3 options. Either it's just kind of fraying, from what I hear, like the membrane, and they can do a bunch of injections. He could be back by September if that's the case, if it's minor.
Yeah.
The second one is it's partially torn, and they can do the surgery that Giolito just got, which is like a brace. Ohtani just got it too. So you only miss a year. You don't miss a year and a half.
Mm-hmm.
And then, I mean, worst case scenario is Tommy John, which second Tommy John is.
That's usually a killer for pitchers, right?
Yeah, it used to be 1. Now it's 2.
Yeah.
But yeah, he didn't look sharp Friday. I could tell, the velocity after the first inning stopped being 97, 98 and started being 95, 96.
Yeah.
Couldn't locate the breaking ball. So,
but this shows how deep this team is, that we lose our co-ace, and I'm going to say co-ace because him and Max Fried, with how they've done in the past couple of years, both of them could be the number 1 pitcher for us. So when we lose him, and we still find a way to come back, the Braves play all 9 innings. They play all 27 outs, and it's a thing of beauty.
Yeah, and it's one of those things where their bullpen's been so good, especially early on. And I think they're going to be really good all year, just because of the type of pitchers that are back there.
Yeah.
But the bullpen can keep them in games. You can get a big inning, but you need to keep extending the lead to keep them down,
and just keep chipping away at it. And that's what the Braves have done so far this season. They get a bloop hit here, get a run here. We'll go down 8-2 like it was in the second game, and just keep chipping away. We find a way to get back into the game.
Yeah, they scrapped a couple of runners on Ozuna, hit a 3-run home run, and all of a sudden you kind of felt, Fott's coming out of the game. The bullpen got the crap beat out of them Friday night, so they had almost none of their top arms available.
Yeah.
Inkle wasn't available and all that. So
there's like night and day with the Braves bullpen this weekend and the Arizona Diamondbacks, with the Braves bullpen giving up maybe 1 run the whole weekend, and the Diamondbacks just pray for their bullpen. Good Lord, we feasted on them.
I think they're out their top lefty specialist and their closer.
Yeah.
So that's brutal when you're facing a team like Atlanta. And it just seemed they had no answer.
Yeah.
And I made a joke Saturday night to my wife and a friend that was over. I was like, I mean, they can get all the bullpen phone, but I don't know who they're calling. Like,
yeah.
It was just one of those things where it's like, it felt inevitable. After the starter was out of the game and they tacked on another run, it was like, they need to get, 8 outs before the Braves score 3 runs. I just don't see it happen.
Yeah. So love to see it. Love to see the Braves in first place, just doing what we do. You got any news or any any speculation on what the Braves would do with their starting rotation going forward?
So they put Strider on the injured list,
Mm-hmm.
15-day IL, because he's going to get an evaluation with the Texas Rangers team doctor, is the physician. He did like 230 Tommy John surgeries last year. Apparently, I did some reading up on him, so he'll know the best course of action. He's a good doctor. But Alan Winans was recalled,
Mm-hmm.
so
And they'll throw him in the bullpen, right?
I think he's slated to start one of the 4 games against the Mets.
Okay, that's cool. Hey, and
And
talking about the Mets, we have the former Brave, Mr. Julio Teheran, coming back to town tomorrow, right?
yeah, I think the Braves are going to pound him around. I don't know. They don't hit guys soft tossers very well, so we'll see.
We'll see. We'll see with that one. That should be an interesting experience with him coming back to Atlanta. He was a very big part of this Braves team.
Yeah, he better get a standing ovation. Everyone be nice to Julio, please.
Please, hey, he was our starting pitcher, our opening day pitcher for what, 6 straight years? He did
6
a
straight
lot
years.
for the team.
And he was solid. He only had like 1 year of over 4 ERA or
Yeah.
something like that. Julio was good.
He wasn't blowing people away, but he was Mr. Solid out there. Loved having
No.
him on the team.
170, 180 innings. He'd get you through 6. That's all you needed him to do.
Yeah.
But with Winans coming up, I think it's because Elder pitched Friday.
Yeah.
So they didn't want to, or he pitched Saturday, excuse me. So they didn't want to like delay this, push Max Fried back a day to have Elder come up and start. It's really weird. So Winans will probably start Wednesday.
Got it.
And then on the next turnaround of the rotation, they'll do some shuffling again and bring up a starter. Probably Bryce Elder, maybe Dylan Dodd, maybe AJ Smith-Shawver, maybe Hurston Waldrop. I don't know.
But that's the beauty of this, how deep this team is. We have so many different options to go to of these MLB ready players. And you heard everyone talking about it at the beginning of the season that we're going to throw 12, 13 starting pitchers throughout the season. We have the ability, we have the talent to be able to do that and be fine with it.
Yeah, and I think an added bonus, you saw it with how good the Braves bullpen is.
Yep.
You just got to get through 5, man. Keep the team in the game through 5. You don't even need to be winning after 5. You just need to be like, hey, if we're within 2 runs, I did my job.
Yeah, that's all it takes.
And kind of clean your hands off and just sit back and watch the fireworks, I guess.
Yes, sir. So this upcoming week, we got 4 games against the Mets. We have 3 games against Miami. We go to Miami for 3 games, and then we go to Houston for 3 games following that before our next off day. So what's your prediction for the next, let's just say 7 games? 4 games against the Mets, 3 games against Miami.
Probably like a 5-2. It's really hard to sweep teams every time you play them.
Yeah.
I imagine the Mets will take one off.
And the 1-win Miami Marlins?
You got to go down the road down to Miami. Baseball's a weird sport. You can beat anyone on any night. So I'm not expecting a sweep. It's probably going to be 5-2.
Yeah.
I mean, like worst case scenario, probably like 4-3. They like split with the Mets or something. But I expect them to take 2 out of 3 from Miami, and they're not going to lose the series against the Mets. Who, by the way, have the worst offense in Major League Baseball.
What was that? Was it Lindor that I saw? He's batting like 038 right now.
Yeah, that's when he entered today's game. He hit a home run, so that was like his 2nd hit of the year or something like that.
All right, maybe he's batting 100 by now, but it's still not looking good up in New York.
No, and Jeff McNeil's falling off a cliff. Beatty has some pop. They got a weird lineup construction. They got a lot of young guys. I just think with how good the Braves pitching's been, they're going to struggle a bit.
Yeah. All right, last question I got for you. Going down to Miami for the first time this year, what are the odds that Acuna gets hit again?
Hopefully 0% chance, but it's always like a 10-15% chance.
It blows my mind. He just gets plucked when he goes down there every time, and just when is this gonna stop?
Yeah, and he kind of seems like he's pressing right now.
Mm-hmm.
Teams keep coming in, up and in. He kind of takes that personally. He's chasing out of the zone a lot. He has like 13 strikeouts already, which is a lot.
It's a lot more than last year. He was like locked in last year.
Yeah, but I to his credit, he has struck out looking 3 times on pitches that are nowhere near the zone.
Yeah, that bases loaded strikeout this past weekend. Just you see it on his face. You see the emotion. Just what? Really?
Yeah. Yeah. So just remember, the Braves offense is doing that without Acuna really doing anything.
Yeah.
I mean, he picked up a couple of hits today. He's not really driving the ball for extra bases though. But yeah, I mean, the real question is this weekend, Thomas. I have a question for you. This
Yeah.
Miami series, how many home runs is Marcell Ozuna going to hit?
Marcell in Miami. They don't have the fixture in center field anymore. I do miss that. I'm gonna say Ozuna gets at least 3 homers in Miami.
Oh yeah, he loves playing the Marlins. Last year's when they played the Marlins is when he took off.
Yeah.
This year he's come out of the gate. He wants that big money contract in the offseason. He's probably going to get it.
Yeah.
But he had a really good week this week too. He's seeing the ball really well.
I think he's sitting one home run behind Mookie Betts for the league right now. So just keep doing what you do, Ozuna.
Yeah, just he's had his personal problems in the past, but
Just let it stay in the past. We don't have to revisit.
yeah, I mean, in my mind, he did a whole bunch of community service. He went to classes. He seems like a different guy than he did the first couple of years here in Atlanta.
Yeah.
Definitely with how the clubhouse culture is around him. So I'm ready for it out of the gate swinging. So if he's as hot all year as he was, the last 3 quarters of last year, this guy's going to hit 50 home runs.
Hey, keep going, push forward, do what you got to do. The Braves currently sitting 6-2 going into the Mets and the Marlins series. Got anything else for us before we end it?
The Phillies have a laughably weak schedule in the first half of the season. I took a look today and I was like, wow, really?
Hey, it has to happen eventually. We'll get one of those schedules and we'll do what we have to do with it.
Yeah, but that to remind everybody, they have to play the Braves like from July onward 9 more times or something like that, 10 more times. So they got to play like the Braves 10 more times, and then the second half they play like the Dodgers and the Pirates, and so
they can have the easy schedule right now. That's fine.
They can have the easy schedule right now. I think Atlanta's going to do really good over this next stretch. I think they're way better than the Mets. They're better than the Marlins and the Astros with all their pitching injuries. They don't exactly have major league talent in the rotation.
Mm-hmm.
So I think the Braves have a chance here to, really kind of get an early cushion, and that'll help them kind of weather, the Strider injury and Max Fried's inconsistency. Although he looked pretty good after the first inning.
Yeah. Yeah,
but,
let's get Max Fried going. Let's have Chris Sale do what Chris Sale does. Maybe 2018 version comes out and just surprises us this year. But hey, stay healthy first and foremost.
Hey, he gave 5 1/3 today. I think he went 5 2/3 in his first start.
Mm-hmm.
That's fine. It's early, getting into the 6th inning. He stayed under 100 pitches both times. So Sale's been really solid, especially with the bullpen we have. There's no reason to push it. Sale got the Carroll out to lead off the 6th.
Yeah.
Snicker went straight to the righty because Gurriel and Walker eat lefties for breakfast. So it was the right call. And then it set them down very promptly. So I'm excited. Good first week. Good first 8 games. I mean,
let's stay in first place. Let's stay here all season, man.
Yeah, I mean that stinker game in Chicago, Crochet was pitching out of his mind.
Mm-hmm.
He struck out like 10 dudes, pitched 7 innings, 1 run. But
can't expect that every single time though. They can luck up and find gold once. It's okay.
Yeah, no need to panic. Strider's hurt, but there's no need to panic.
Yeah,
this team won the World Series without Spencer Strider on the roster.
I like our chances. I'm still happy with the team.
As weird as it sounds, I know Ian Anderson was in the rotation back then. Like there was like the big 3 was Fried, Morton, Anderson.
Mm-hmm.
I think we could get away with Fried, Fried, Sale, Morton for a little bit, with the arms we have down there. You said we have so much depth.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, Ian Anderson should be back at some point this season as well. So if his struggles were injury related and he goes back to being old Ian Anderson,
we'll be fine.
We'll be fine. Yeah. So.
All right. That is it for us. As always, Jackson, hop on.
Hop on.